Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Pure pugilists and boxing logic family. This is Myron Magnus. Check this out. One of the major things that everybody, or one of the big things that everyone has been trying to wrap their mind around is why haven't the Anthony Joshua and Deontay Wilder fight happened yet? And one of the other things is that which belt is most prestigious? Deontay Wilder just made a statement saying that the WBC belt, his WBC belt, is, I don't know if he said worth more famous or more well known than all the other belts combined. And of course, I posted this. You have the WBC belt, one WBC belt, or the WBC belt, heavyweight champion of the world. Yet your average earnings throughout your career has been about $3 million a fight. Even with the belt, from a demographic pool of 340 million people in the United States of America. We're talking about Deontay Wilder. On the other hand, you have Anthony Joshua that has the WBA, IBF, and WBO heavyweight titles. He also has the IBO, but the IBO has not been recognized yet by the other four. He has those three. You have the one. You make an average of $3 million a fight. He now makes an average of $30 million a fight from a demographic pool in the UK of 67 million people. The United States is let's say, damn near 5 times 62, 67, almost 5 times bigger than the UK as far as population. UK 67 million, United States 340 million. He has the WBO, WBA, IBF. He make an average of 30 million a fight. How on earth is your belt worth more than his 3 when Anthony Joshua makes 10 times more than you? Y'all answer that question for me. It's pretty cut and dry. The other thing I want to elaborate or dig into is the WBC. A lot of people say this is the most prestigious belt out there. It really is not. The WBC is the biggest clout chasers. They are the clout chasers of all the recognized world boxing sanctioning bodies. The WBC are the clout chasers. You know what they want to do? They want to stand alone. Because in their perspective, opinion, them standing alone gives off the impression to the rest of the world like we are more important. They don't want to be grouped with the rest right now at this tight time, at this time when boxing is supposedly dead or in a down point. They don't want to be grouped with the rest because they don't want to get overlooked. They don't want to be overshadowed and this and that. They want to stand alone, which is one of the reasons why the WBC is helping Deontay Wilder keep that belt, in my opinion. Let's go look in some history of the WBC real fast. And real quick on some controversies. Although rivals, the WBC's relationship with other sanctioning bodies has improved over time, and there have been even talks of unification with the WBA. The WBC is trying to maybe unify again with the WBA. Unification bouts between WBC and other organizations' champions are becoming more common in recent years. Throughout its history, the WBC has allowed some of its organizations' champions to fight unification bouts with champions of other organizations. Although there were times it stepped in to prevent such fights, for many years it also prevented its champions from holding the WBO belt. When the WBO recognized champion wished to fight for a WBC championship, it had to abandon his WBO title first, without any special considerations. This, however, is no longer the case. That's some hating ass shit, ain't it? That is an organization that just want to keep all the spotlight on itself. And you know why? Because the motherfuckers don't have as much money, or as much money as we think they have. The WBC, that is. Check this out. In 1983, the following death... Hold up. Check something out real quick. In early 1998, Roy Jones Jr. announced that he was relinquishing his WBC light heavyweight title. In response, the WBC ordered a bout between Graziano Rocchigiani from Germany and the former champion Michael Nunn to fill the vacancy, sanctioning it as a world championship match. On 21st March 1998, Rocchigiani won the fight and a WBC belt in the subsequent WBC rankings. He was listed as light heavyweight world champion. Jones, however, had a change of heart and asked if the WBC would reinstate him as the champion. In a move that violated nearly a dozen of its own regulations, the WBC granted the reinstatement. Rocchigiani received a letter from the WBC advising that the publication of his name as champion was a typographical error, and he had never been the official title holder. Rocchigiani immediately filed a lawsuit against the WBC in a U.S. federal court, claiming that the organization's actions were both contrary to their own rules and injurious to its earning potential due to diminished professional stature. On May 7, 2003, the judge ruled in Rocchigiani's favor, awarding him $30 million US in damages and reinstating him as the former WBC champion. Rocchigiani had lost a bout since his WBC title match. The following day, the WBC sought protection by filing Chapter 11 bankruptcy. In Puerto Rico, the organization spent the next 13 months trying to negotiate a six-figure settlement with Rocchigiani, but the fighter at first rejected the proposal. On June 11, 2004, the WBC announced it would enter Chapter 7 bankruptcy liquidation proceedings, effectively threatening its existence. This action prompted some in the boxing community to plead with Rocchigiani, probably other fighters or whoever, blase, or probably he sent some damn strong on, the WBC sent some strong on motherfuckers, say, you better change your motherfucking mind. Anyway, this action prompted some in the boxing community to I'm pleading you Take the 6-figure before we break your fucking legs. Anyway, let me stop. The action prompted some in the boxing community to plead Rochigiani to settle the dispute, which he did in mid-July 2004. Now, the question I have is, if the WBC was so prestigious, worth so much more money than the other three, how in the hell was $30 million going to bankrupt them? It was about to make them close their doors and go out of business permanently and liquidate everything. That includes their fucking belts. Now, question to you is, truly, what's the worth of the WBC belt in comparison to the other three? WBC is the biggest clout chasers in the game. Period. They don't want Deontay Wilder to lose that belt, go to Joshua, and then they're then overlooked by the other three major and also competition in the IBO coming in, overshadowing them. Okay? They want to keep that belt with one man, not washed out by others, so they can stand alone, stand out, and do this and do that to make themselves appear more important than the rest. In my opinion, of course. This is Myron Magnus. You listen to a segment of Pure Pugilism, Boxing Logic. Also, I'm going live in about 3 o'clock on why Anthony Joshua is, in fact, the legitimate lineal champion today under the Queensberry rules that started in 1865. Not the Ring magazine. He is the #1 contender, the #1 ranked in Ring magazine, and I will get into that later as well, and I will answer all questions that you have, okay, because Joshua is the lineal champion off precedent and a box off, and I have the history and the action set before Joshua in play to prove it, or on hand to prove it. Talk to you later, talk to you later, pure pugilists, beautiful spirits, and I'll be live about 3 o'clock. 1.